You're listening to the Nevada Talk Network. It is 12:36. God, this gets so crazy. Are you Mayor Nathan Robertson of KELY, do you find yourself some days just going and coming?
Well, it's certainly been a long week for everybody. So if you're going to be doing that, today's the day.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. It's been an unusual week, and we're going to see a lot more unusual weeks before it's all over and done with. We stop by, and you stop by every weekday at this time to talk about the things that are happening in the city of Ely as far as what's going on. Let me ask you, because we were talking yesterday about you're preparing to deal with the Small Business Administration through their recovery programs.
Yep.
How has it been dealing with this website? Has it been complicated? Has it been
No, it was
reasonable?
probably about the easiest government website that I've ever had to deal with. It took me about 30 minutes and done, and they spit me out a confirmation number, and that was that.
When did you do this?
I did that Wednesday night, I believe.
So that was right as they were redoing the site to make it simpler.
Yeah, if you've gone on a week or even 5 or 6 days ago, you had a different experience. If you go on now and do it, it's pretty simple.
So small businessmen who may be idle at this time, or maybe just trying to figure out how are they going to make ends meet,
Sure.
that is a good thing for them to do. It's SBA.gov/disaster or SBA.gov/coronavirus. They're trying to get a hold. He's a popular man. Nathan Robertson, the mayor of the city of Ely, who not only is a small businessman, who not only is the mayor of Ely, but is a cashier in training every so often up at Ridley's to help the senior citizens.
They didn't have it today, so I got it the day off, but they do have tomorrow, and then they start again on Monday.
How are the spirits of the elder population? Because the first hour of the day on certain days of the week, from 6 until 7, are open just to seniors 65 and over, which means I can't go up because I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost there. God willing, I make it to 65. But how have what is the mood of the seniors been that you've spoken with?
For the most part, they seem about in their usual spirits. They come in, they do shopping, they'll visit with you as you check them out, and they go on their way. And they seem to be as usual. I mean, it's stressing for everybody, and you can tell that there's some concern in people's voices and in their day-to-day. They're worried about family members, just like we all are. Worried about family members we have, and worried about the financial situation and the economy and all those kind of things. But I'd say in general they're in pretty good spirits.
But it seems like maybe the government there used to be the old joke that I'm from the government and I'm here to help you, and you remove the word help and you insert the word screw.
Yeah.
And that used to be the way it was. And it seems like this time there may actually be assistance that may actually be intended to help the people.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean, we can't. I certainly, like I said, my crystal ball went dim quite a while ago, so who knows how that'll turn out or anything else. But
I don't even worry about our crystal ball. I'm dim most of the time these days.
But as I have a lot of questions come in, there are a lot of people concerned about, I saw a group of people, or I saw a bus full of people show up, and boy, they weren't practicing social distancing, and what are we going to do about it? And what we need to remember is that the best way for you to deal with this is to be able to take care of yourself. You are the person who's responsible for your own health and safety. By following these guidelines and things that came out, if you see something going on that, hey, there's a group of people over there, or I saw a group of kids, maybe your best bet is not to go over there.
Yeah.
Make sure you're social distancing. There is still a bus or two that comes through town. Certainly they can't be 6 feet apart while all sitting on the bus. There'll be things that require people to be within 6 feet of each other that happen, whether it's utility workers or other things, or maybe some kids and they just didn't know and they got out of the house without their parents noticing, and And I'm sure they'll get dealt with at some point. But this isn't the issue of us trying to enforce this by citation and by force. This is an issue of, you've been told about it. The best thing you can do is to make sure that you and your family are doing the things that they've been asked to do. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, there are some days in which, and I saw something today that indicated that, and this is not at all serious, but I saw some homeschool kids who were saying, I hope I don't have the same teacher next year.
There you go.
Bring out the Board of Education again. You remember those days.
The Board of Education.
We're even though you're younger than I am, but you remember those days. Yes,
Yep.
Very well. How has the city done functionally as far as getting through this situation?
I think functionally things are going pretty well. We haven't had any disruptions in service or anything else. There's multiple ways that you can interact with staff down at City Hall through the phone or internet. You can make your payments by Dropbox and stuff like that. There has been a concern. Someone came yesterday with how are the county and the city dealing with what's sure to be a pretty big financial downturn. That not only affects businesses, but it affects tax revenue coming in, and it affects services and municipalities and all sorts of things. And in some instances, it's probably couldn't have come at a better time because it is our budget season to be planning for stuff like that. So it was convenient in the fact that we could wrap that into our budget planning. And I know the financial staff and everybody else at the city and the county are looking at ways to tighten their belt, and no one knows what's coming down the pipe per se, but trying to make some contingency plans and anticipate some of that downturn.
Yeah, especially with such a reliance now on sales tax and
Absolutely.
so many non-essential businesses shut.
Yeah,
That takes a lot of that down.
it does, and like I said, this affects everybody, whether you're the government, whether you're an open business, an essential business, or a closed business, or whether you're retired and on a fixed income. I mean, it really does affect everybody.
Yeah, nobody's doing particularly good. The good news is a lot of people aren't traveling out of town to do any spending right now, which, granted, this would be an excellent time to travel out of town with gas prices having fallen. What gas prices are now down almost 40 cents a gallon from where they were a month ago.
Yeah, and that's nice to see, I suppose. Nowhere to go to use it, but certainly nice to see. And just a reminder, too, I know there was some concern. The governor did activate the Nevada National Guard, but their role is also not enforcement. They're not going around breaking up groups or making sure people are locked in their houses. Their primary role is to make sure they're distributing food, they're distributing supplies, they're helping with logistics. They are not stopping people at the border.
This is not martial law. We have heard,
Right.
We talked about this weeks ago. Well, not weeks ago. It's been a couple of weeks ago.
We've talked about it pretty regularly over the last few weeks.
But
anyway.
there has been, we have been saying there is not martial law. The borders are open. We are not, we have not yet built a wall between Nevada and California, although some people think even before this that might not have been a bad idea.
Sure.
But,
But I've had some people question because they've got a doctor's appointment, an essential doctor's visit to make over in Utah, and they're concerned about going over. They won't be let back in. There's nobody stopping anybody at the border there. There is a travel advisory out, and if there is a way that you can at all, make sure you are aggressively social distancing while you're out away from our community, and when you come back, if you can quarantine for any length of time, 14 days is the recommended amount. That's what they're recommending. But they realize that won't be feasible for everybody, but the more people that can do that, the safer you'll be.
Yeah, take hand sanitizer with you, or a bottle of Everclear, or Somebody said this was the time for Everclear to make a comeback, and I don't. But that's try and keep your hands clean and wash your hands a lot. Keep your hands away from your face and all that stuff, and that's the only way that you're going to make it through this, and make it there and back without any big issues.
Well, these are the best things to do. I know a lot of people have been contacting the hospital about, hey, what's proper glove protocol? I'm going to get some masks. What do I need to do? You really don't need to be going above and beyond what you've been asked to do. The safest thing you can do is just making sure you're washing your hands regularly, you're not touching your face, the things that you just said. Masks currently, the thing for masks are for people who have symptoms.
Yes.
And frontline medical staff. If you're otherwise healthy, there's no reason for you to wear a mask, and it could be riskier for you to wear a mask. Because if you have that mask on, you're going to be touching your face more. You're not used to it. It's keeping a lot of things right there close to your face, and if otherwise you're healthy, that's not something you need to be doing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the hospital has discussed in the past, is that when they have somebody who is not well come in, they try to get a mask on them so
Absolutely.
that they are not spreading it when they cough or sneeze, or that keeps the germs contained, keeps the
Sure.
contagions contained.
Our hospital CEO remarked that it's almost better for you to not wear gloves and regularly wash your hands. There are some instances where you might be more comfortable wearing gloves, but if you're touching it with gloves or you're touching it with your hand, there's almost no difference.
No.
You can wash your hands and you can change your gloves out, and if you're remembering to change gloves out, that's probably good. But just remember, we need to be staying home and physically distancing ourselves from other people not in our household. That's what we need to be doing.
That's the most important thing. You and I are the only people that right now are coming into the radio station. And the main reason that is that we're, and he leans back against the wall as I say
Force
that.
of habit.
The main reason that we do that is because we want to reduce the probability of any contagion here, because we are an emergency and an essential service.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Sheriff Henroyd, emergency officials are the only ones that we have coming out here. Everybody else, our regular guests, we're asking them, we do their stuff over the phone or over Skype or over, whatever service it is, primarily to reduce the spread of all of this stuff. Because and I'm at that age now where I'm in what is considered that endangered population.
Yeah, you could be at a higher risk, and it's as we're doing that, if you're thinking about your day and things you've got to get done, just go through your list and say, is that something I could call and do over the phone? Is that something I could go online and do instead? Is that something that could be put off for a few weeks? And just try to weed anything out that you can avoid going out or going to a place of business if you don't have to.
So, the only places you really should be going right now are to, unless you're going out for a walk or going out for a bike ride or going
Sure.
out something like that. I saw some folks out golfing today over here in the golf course.
Yeah, they've been doing that. I've seen a lot more families out taking walks. I've seen them on bikes. I've seen them around. They've been out doing stuff, so that's good.
And being active like that and getting out in the sunshine, getting your vitamin D, consuming your vitamin C, taking
Sure.
your vitamins, saying your prayers, all that. Oh, wait, I'm not Hulk Hogan. But still, saying your vitamins, taking your vitamins and saying your prayers is actually not a bad thing to do at this point in time. It builds the immunity and builds the spirit to get through all of this.
Anything you can do to see to your own well-being, both mental and physical, is something good to do right now.
There we go. Any other big things we need to go into here?
Not at the moment. Just I think things have been, or the status quo is at least held for a couple of days, which is not a bad thing.
That's
And we'll
knock on wood.
We'll certainly come back on Monday and see if there's anything else we need to update. If something happens over the weekend, we'll be here on Monday to talk about it.
And we will have, those of you who miss your sports, miss your Golden Knights, miss your NASCAR, we do have NASCAR Classic this weekend.
There you go.
1999.
Don't spoil the ending.
No, there is a big wreck at the end.
Oh, gosh.
So it's a 1999 Goodies 500, I believe it is, and that'll be on at 10 o'clock Sunday.
Okay.
So, it's, we're trying to entertain, we're trying to inform, and when the president comes on later, which I'm sure he will, we'll have that information for you so you can hear that live and uninterrupted and unfiltered. That's one of the best things, we try to stay away from just doing news bites and actually letting people hear the entirety of what is being said. Because and how in 30 seconds, how are the preparations for next Thursday's meeting going?
Good. We're doing some test runs on the Zoom meeting, and when that agenda comes out, there'll be all the information on how you can access that. So
And
hopefully that'll go well.
And we will post that up on our Facebook pages so you can zoom into the meeting as well. Ely Mayor Nathan Robertson, small businessman, a man who has gone through all the SBA stuff to make sure his small business has less issues. And we will chat with you on Monday about this same time.
I'll be here.
All righty. And you have yourself a great weekend. As I said, we will hear from the president a little bit later on. And we will keep things rolling here on the Nevada Talk Network. 12:51, we'll get to John David Wells next.